That was a hard transition.
Yeah, what the shit? Welcome to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming Star Wars video podcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. And today we're going to be beginning. Man, I shouldn't be reading the
Don't
copy.
read my notes.
Anyways, we're going to finish off this season of The Bad Batch, Season 2. This is episode 9 through 16.
Yeah. Initial thoughts of these last 8 episodes?
I could have not watched it and been better off. I feel cheated because initially I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Whatever. You told me we got an episode that almost kind of felt like Signal from Sector 6.
Only at the very beginning.
You did warn me of that.
Yeah.
I put way too much hope into it. And
no.
No, that bit was cool.
Yeah.
For like 5 fucking seconds.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, okay, back to this garbage. And then before the season even started, we were told by Filoni that this was going to be a much darker season.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in one fucking instance at the end of the goddamn season.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that just didn't fucking do it for me.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I was bummed once the last 2 episodes dropped because people who are like professional reviewers, they were sent the whole first 14 episodes. And so the last 2 were held back from them. And so in my head, I'm thinking, well, those last 2 got to be good. They got to be doing some like World Between Worlds type shit to warrant holding them back. And so when we finally, I was like sitting down watching the episode, I was like, no, how is this? No, I was so upset. I could not accept that what I was watching was the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, why hold those back?
It was so pointless. Like, where is this leading?
I don't give a fuck. I don't even care. I'm done with this.
Yeah, I'm done. I will not watch another season of this. I don't think there's going to be another season. I feel like they're kind of done. But at the same time, like, if they're not, I am.
Yeah.
It was just 16 episodes. Like, I hate to fucking say this, but I feel like the popcorn debt episode in this first season was much more interesting than the rest, like this entire season.
Yeah. It's just been a garbage pile. Like, I don't understand. It's almost as if they didn't know where they wanted to go with the story. They just knew they wanted to make episodes. So they're just sort of throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah, like I did like Crosshair's final episode. Like, that was good.
Yeah,
that could have been.
I thought all of the episodes were focused on him were good. I think we got 2 of them.
Yeah, we got 2 of them, but like that was good. That to me felt like later seasons of the Clone Wars, and it made sense. And like, I'll admit, I liked them. Mm-hmm. I didn't love them, but I liked them, especially when he just tries to bamf out of the Empire. Like, that was fantastic, but the rest was just nonsense.
Yeah. The thing is like, I liked the last episode moment of consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was earned. They set it up wonderfully, and I thought it went down as it should. And I was afraid they were going to save him somehow, and I'm glad that they didn't. And so for an entire season of Omega's crying because one guy decides to go hang out at someone else's house for a couple days and then comes back, and then everyone's happy and fine together, and they're rescuing other people, and no matter what sort of weird situations with the Empire they find themselves in, they always make it out with no problems. So finally, we have one situation where that didn't happen. And I was just like, okay, if that was the whole season of just consequence after consequence, forcing them to rethink their strategies, and maybe we're not the best that the Empire had to offer.
Right.
Like, try to set it up so that you break down their dynamic and you force them to change and adapt, then I'm in. But you just give me the same shit over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's the Omega show, and she's not an interesting character.
No, and now we know that she's not even special.
No! And that's the bullshit thing, is that was the whole setup of this fucking show. Was one, what do the clones do when they don't want to get in with the Empire, and 2, we have a promising character that's going to lead into how Palpatine somehow returned.
Yeah.
It's just not even fucking important.
It bothers me that they're spending 2 whole different series explaining how we got to Snoke and the Emperor when
it doesn't matter.
They already told us about cloning. Shut up, Siri. They already told us about cloning technology in the first episode.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, not the first episode. It was the second film, right? Episode 2.
Oh yeah. It was the second one.
So, we knew way back then. You don't have to resell the idea about cloning. We get it. So don't spend time in this weird cross-show explanation and then not pay it off by, saying, oh no, it was Alpha and Omega. Alpha was Boba Fett, Omega's Omega. Together they are like the secret to cloning, I don't know, maybe Dark Jedi or something. Like something interesting and cool that would then turn into Emperor.
Which still doesn't even make sense, because the whole idea, and of course I'm coming from the Legends aspect, is you can't clone Force properties. Force properties you're inherently born with. Now, of course, they do figure it out. It's not fully successful, but it's successful.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of trial by fire type thing. Mm-hmm. They don't have Force abilities, so why does it fucking matter that one rogue bounty hunter was able to donate some DNA to make a girl?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. And then just seeing her sister.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get me invested after 3 seasons of this? I don't care at this point. There's nothing you could do to make me care about Omega as a character. She's just uninteresting, and it's not for me. I'm an old ass man. I'm not the target demo of this show, so I get they're not trying to target me, but I think they undercut a child's imagination by not going deeper.
Right. And that's you look at the Clone Wars. That's how it was. That was a kid's show through and through, even to the last fucking season. But there was story because they weren't pandering to paint chip eating children. And I feel like that's what they're thinking. Oh no, clearly all the kids that are watching this have suffered, traumatic brain injuries or something, fetal alcohol syndrome. I don't know. I don't understand why they're dumbing it down so much. And the thing is, with the first season, cool, you got that done and over with. The second season, just like with the second season of the Clone Wars, it was still a kid's show, but it dealt with real life consequences, and they did it with little 2 to 3 story arc episodes. And that's the thing I don't understand. These are the same people making the same fucking show, but not being able to do it right.
Yeah, it's weird.
And that's the thing that bothers me the most. And yeah, Chris, that's the thing. I could believe that that's what they're trying to do, fill in gaps for the new trilogy, but they're focusing on one aspect that doesn't even fucking matter. The whole cloning thing. That was explained 30 fucking years ago when the prequels came out. Yeah. We don't need, seasons of shows to explain that, oh yeah, there was cloning.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they're doing it right.
I definitely agree. I think this season is the perfect example of a show that's outlived its stage time. Mm-hmm. It's just putting out episodes just to put them out, and then you hype them up by saying, no, it's going to be much darker this season, and so people will watch it. And then now you're telling us we can't trust you, is basically what you're saying at this point.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, they didn't lie to us. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll cover episode by episode, but I mean, fucking Tech dies at the end.
Yeah.
And so, yes, technically speaking, that was much darker than the first season.
But that was the very end of the very last episode. Mm-hmm. Not the season. You know what I mean?
But from a certain point of view, they're using that aspect of Star Wars.
Don't pull that shit on me. Yeah. I guess I don't know. It didn't land with me. And each episode that I watched, I was like, this has got to be the one that I can just cheer for, you know.
Mhm.
And I really did like the soldier specific ones, you know, about
Mhm.
the troops being decommissioned. I thought it was poignant for my generation, but I just everything else. And every time you went to the Bad Batch, I didn't give a damn. And the show's called Bad Batch,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just didn't
agreed.
care.
And it's sad. Like I'm sitting here looking over the show notes, and I just watched these. Like I finished yesterday. Um, I don't remember any of this. It was so unforgettable. Like
Well, it's
I
so
guess it's the
forgettable.
order that I'm missing. Like the whole Ipsum shit.
Yeah.
Like I felt like that was later in. It was just so disappointing.
Yeah. So if they do another season, I'll wait to hear reviews about it before I bother watching it. That's kind of where I am at right now.
Yeah, I'll probably wait until you say, it was okay, and I'll be like,
Maybe I'll
okay.
consider it.
Because at this point, honestly, there's like really you and one other person whose opinions I trust when it comes to Star Wars. Everybody else, I feel like that I used to have in-depth discussions with over the shows are just drinking the Kool-Aid at this point.
Wow.
And it's like I can't get behind that, man. I can't get behind that.
Yeah. Fuck Kool-Aid. I'm not down with it. Oh, I thought you said, "Oh shucks, Cameron." Like that's sad. Yeah, and every time they did do like a multi-episode arc, it was like 2, and then the events had no real impact or lasting, like anything. Like you, it's not that they were forgettable to us, which they were. It's that they were forgettable to the cast of the show, which tells us that they meant nothing to go through. So if there's no growth or no reflection, then there's no point when it comes to a serial episode like or a serial season like this series. Anyway, I thought the ending was good, as it seemed like you did too. You know, sort of reflecting back on the whole season at this point, did you have any like highlight favorite moments?
Tech dying. And not because Tech died. Like I'm not like, oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck that guy. But like that was the heart and the consequences that I wanted to see in this. Like he understood what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
And he understood what his duty was. Like, and then just, you know, his sign off is like, order 99 or whatever the fuck he said. Like that's just like, fuck, this dude gets it. Like he's going to sacrifice himself to save his homies so they can get the hell out of there.
Yeah, he literally drank the Kool-Aid.
Said space gondolas, come on. There's repulsor technology in this fucking universe, and you're gonna have some slow ass gondolas. Come on.
It's like the Swiss Alps, man. Let them have their gondola.
I
was just like, why don't you do a train like in Solo?
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're doing like a ski resort transportation device.
And for it to be so goddamn
strange. Yeah, I thought that was really, really weird. My favorite parts of this all had to do with the decommissioning of the clones, and that was it. Other than that, I thought every single episode sort of fell flat for me. I liked the death, but they tried to set up this, at least it seems like they tried to set up this moment where they had the Wanda Sykes woman walking up to Tech, and it looked like she was macking on him. And it looked like he finally recognized that she was macking on him. And so in reflection, I think we're supposed to feel like, oh, she's going to be so sad because she lost the guys that she was into. But they didn't have a relationship, so there's no gravity there. So I give a fuck. Why did you even have that scene? What was the point of that scene?
I don't get it.
If it wasn't to try to make it a sadder moment for him to be lost, then there was just no reason for it at all. It makes no sense to me.
Unless what they're going to do is bring her in as his replacement, in which case, nope, I'm done. I will never watch another fucking episode again.
Oh, man, it's so strange. Just the choices made in this show are so strange to me. why go back to the fucking Zillow beast? That made zero sense to me. And like the only reason why it was exciting when it happened in the Clone Wars is because it was at the tail end of a new Godzilla film. At least in my memory, that's why I paid any attention to it. And, you know, that's where they're getting like lightsaber deflecting technology or some shit that the Emperor is going to work on, which is why they had it in this. But they already told us that story in Clone Wars, so you don't have to retell it here. Everything in this show was like, this is what the Empire is doing in order to get to there. You know, we're trying to, all this is like a backstory. You don't give me a whole season of a backstory about a different organization. Like, give me a backstory about the Bad Batch, or give me something to have to do with the namesake of the show.
Yeah.
Because this season had nothing to do with that, it seemed like.
No, it was, oh, we're getting away from Iguana Lady because she's a bitch. Yeah. So instead, we're going to run with Wanda Sykes.
And then they abandoned them.
And then, yeah, it's like there was not anything. Like, we're going to go mine Ipsum because someone has, or because Sid has a mine. Cool. We got some Ipsum. Oh no, we're going to blow up the Ipsum. Okay, well, fuck Sid. We can't go back to her. Oh, let's hang out with Wanda Sykes then, and let's hang out with her family on their weird ass planet. And then it's the end of the season.
That's it.
That's
Congratulations.
That's pretty much the last half of the season. It's so weird.
I feel like we were like a butt of a joke or something. We're like,
yeah.
I bet we can convince them to watch a season of this with no story at all.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I know there's people that love this, and they're just like, how can you not like it? It's the most amazing. I just don't see it.
I don't either. Like, here's the thing. I fucking love cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, that is pretty much, I work, and then I come home, spend a little bit of time with my family, and then I stay up till 1 a.m. getting high and watching cartoons. That's the lifestyle I have shows. It is a wonderful life. I watch shit that has no substance to it whatsoever, and it's okay. Like, it's fun. This tries to take itself serious, but there's no nutritional value to it, and that's the problem that I have with it. Yeah. Like, if it was just goofy serial shit where it's literally just, you know, what's the gang up to this week? And they just did something wacky, and it was all a self-contained thing with no through arc, whatever. I could probably appreciate a little bit more, but the fact that this is supposed to be, one, darker than the first season, and there's only one aspect of that. I mean, you can almost argue that Crosshair's story arc was dark too, because he essentially tries to go AWOL, comes to terms with the fact that he was the one that fucked up. But that's one episode, and then he's like knocked out for the rest of the season. So that's, even then, that's not really that dark. But yeah, it's just like there wasn't really anything to it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there were elements to different episodes that I really appreciated, and there were 2 episodes that I really enjoyed. But out of 16, 2, that's not good numbers, man. That's
pretty much like the last season.
Yeah.
I think we had the same thing. There was like 2 episodes that were like, yeah, this is good. I mean, aside from the first episode, but I feel like the first episode, that was the Clone Wars movie. And then it went into the Clone Wars series. Like, that's kind of the separation that I feel.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that first episode, the 2-parter that was like an hour long or whatever, that was fantastic. I loved that. Aside from that, there was like no, you know, like an episode or 2 that was decent.
Yeah, I just think I'm past the Clone Wars at this point. Like, let's just move on. I'm kind of tired playing in that sandbox. We've been there for so long. Let's try something new.
The problem is, it's like it seems like there's not much more for them to tell, so why keep going back?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's a big galaxy. It's a long period of time that the Clone Wars took place. So I like the idea of following different aspects of that timeline and getting that side of the story, because it's a giant galaxy. But it's all so contained to just a tiny point of view that it's not interesting.
Yeah. I like what Chris is saying here. He thought the premise of rejected clones coming back to fight the Empire that considered them obsolete was a good one, but they haven't fully delivered. They haven't delivered at all. The Bad Batch, the rejected clones are, and now all the clones are rejected, but they're not trying to fight the Empire. They're trying to run from the Empire. And so it's not even like a redemption story. It's just like a sad, pitiful survival story almost.
Yeah.
And there's not even really any stakes for anyone except for the very final episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's some serious... I mean, we've seen them fall hundreds of feet down off cliffs and survive and have no problems. Like, I'm sure Tech's going to come back. He'll have, like, those weird, mechanical fucking... What are they called in Boba Fett? The techno people?
Oh my God, he's going to be a mod.
He's going to be a mod, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I hope not.
He's just going to come back and he's going to connect with that other clone guy that's a mod. And
he's going to have mod contacts now instead of his glasses.
Yeah. They're going to do weird mod high fives. It's going to be a very weird thing. But I just can't trust that it's going to be like real, and have real gravity. And there's no more story to tell. Like, just fucking move on already. Mm-hmm. I'm so done with this. And I know they're going to have to go for fucking Omega, and they're going to have to go for fucking Crosshair, and then Crosshair's going to team up with them again, and it's going to be a full circle, and I just don't want to see the circle anymore.
Yeah, same. Because, what's the end game?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, it has to be over. There has to be some final moment where they reach some sort of goal that we don't know about. Like, what is it going to be, and how are they going to do it?
Yeah.
And why should we even care?
It's a good question. That's a great question. I don't. All right, so I mean, is this a series that you think can redeem itself in a different season?
No, absolutely not. Like, here's the thing. Again, like Crosshair, I hated that guy. I did in the first season. Yeah. That was the only interesting part of this season, was Crosshair's story arc. Yeah. I mean, they bring in fucking Saw Gerrera undercover. And I'm looking over the show notes. I barely remember that episode because I got bored and I think I fucking fell asleep.
Oh, no. I got bored because this was the Saw Gerrera before he was the cool Saw Gerrera, and they were trying to sort of play him up as like menacing or something, but it ended up looking like two different frat houses trying to steal the same bra. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I just didn't feel the connection to it at all. I was just like, all right, let's just fucking move on. I know where he ends up. I just don't care.
Chris, all right. There is this thing called late-term abortion. Look into it.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. Robot Belly.
Did you read it? Robot Belly, I'm a mod? God. Yeah, that's worse than my generation being like, oh, Jar Jar Binks is the best when that movie came out. Ugh.
Yeah. The dark times. The before times. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else to talk about with this series, the season of the series. Like, I'm kind of checked out now. So, anything else you got? Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I bet you loved it as much as we did. Of course, if you're tuning into this, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the like button, and that just, makes me feel better about my life.
I swear we try to be more positive people.
Yeah.
We really want to be positive.
We were sucking Andor's cock, so like if they give us something good, we'll fillet it.
That is 100% true.
Bring it out, and it'll happen. But if you refuse to give us something good, then this is what you get. Tomatoes in the face.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. You can always pick up Star Wars apparel that we have through the link in the description below as well. And until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.
I'm full. I'm never full.
People are great.
Don't worry, Chris. We'll be back with something else.
We hate ourselves that much for you.
Yes, we do this for you. It's all for you.